It is my pleasure to welcome today Dr. Christopher Keltz, who is the guest conductor for the Gateway Festival Orchestra. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Kathy. Great to be here, and thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. Great to have you with us today. You're going to be the guest conductor for the last two concerts on the Gateway Festival Orchestra's season. It's a season of 4 weeks, and you're going to be the last 2 weeks. We want to hear all about what you're conducting and all about you, though, first. Tell us a little bit about Chris.
Sure. I'm excited to be with the Gateway Festival Orchestra for one large reason, that I'm a native of St. Louis. My musical education started in the Ferguson Florissant School District, and I graduated from McClure North in 1997. Everyone will need to know that because that's the quintessential question that everyone asks in St. Louis is, what high school did you go to? So, you know, no
Yes.
matter where you are, had fabulous music education from Peggy Davenport to Jan Davis to Mary Eichenberger. Made so many friends and colleagues throughout the years. Went off to study at what was then Southwest Missouri State to Illinois State, and then finishing my doctoral degree at the conservatory at UMKC, which ironically, I start a new job as director of orchestras at the conservatory at UMKC in just a few weeks.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I can't believe that it only starts in a few weeks. Where did my vacation go?
I know. It seems that the vacations have gotten shorter over the years. One day it's going to be 2 weeks. That's it.
That's right.
It's crazy how fast it goes, especially since there are so many festivals and things like that, which you've been participating in as well.
My summer, fortunately, in my line of work, has been busy with chamber music festivals and different concerts. And adding the Gateway Festival Orchestra to my schedule is really thrilling.
I think it's just great, and I love the fact that you are a homegrown fella, too. I think that means a lot to the audience, and I know you just mentioned a couple of teachers' names that will resonate deeply with some of our listeners. Let's talk about concert number 3, your first concert on the quad at Washington University. Tell us about this concert.
This concert is called Gateway West. For the most obvious reason, St. Louis is the gateway to the West. So I decided to build a concert that featured the themes and the sounds and the nostalgic feelings of that westward expansion in music.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the feature pieces, which is super fun to hear and listen to and very on the nose, is John Williams' overture to the Cowboys. And
Wow.
this is every bit quintessential riding off into the sunset. And I think that this is paired with Elmer Bernstein's The Magnificent Seven. So there's going to be some deep cinematic nostalgia that can be heard and felt at the concert. While at the same time, I've balanced out the performance with some more traditional pieces as well.
I love the reference to both of those films. Beautifully written pieces, too. They just sweep you up.
Yes.
You're also going to have Aaron Copland.
Need to have Aaron Copland. Yeah, the life of Aaron Copland to me is it's so magnificent. When you hear his music as a listener, an avid classical music listener, even if you're not an avid classical music listener, you listen to the music of Aaron Copland and you say to yourself, wow, for some reason this sounds like Appalachia, or it sounds like the West, or it sounds like the Mississippi, or it sounds like this, that, or the other. And then you go, oh, gee whiz, maybe he grew up in those. No, Aaron Copland is the son of Russian Jewish immigrants to New York City who studied composition in France and was friends with Leonard Bernstein. And Bernstein said, hey, you see these two measures here? The way that you wrote that music, you should do that all the time. So Aaron Copland's career takes off labeled as a composer that has developed that quintessential Americana sound in classical music. I think it's the way that he builds the harmonies. He's a real study in how far apart or how close together chords are written. And that's the kind of sound color he's able to come up with. as a conductor, I don't know if others would agree with me or not, but composition is something really like fifth dimension. I mean, I think that the creative mind to be able to come up with that is awe-inspiring.
I agree. Let's see, another couple of things are Meet Me in St. Louis, another cinematic, prelude from La Fanciulla, the Puccini, great piece. And what's your final piece?
Antonin Dvorak, a Czech composer who comes to the United States and teaches music in New York and enjoys train rides to Iowa to write his most famous American String Quartet and his Symphony Number 9, which has been called the New World Symphony. I thought this would be a wonderful way to end this Gateway West. The real idea of Eastern European influence being influenced by the trends of music here in the New World. We'll be doing the wonderfully gorgeous slow movement from his New World Symphony featuring that English horn solo.
Going Home?
Yeah.
Many people are under the impression that that was a spiritual that he set, but he took the compositional principles of spirituals and actually wrote that.
Yeah, it isn't necessarily original to the region. It's something Dvorak writes, puts a stamp on, and becomes a standard in the region because of Dvorak.
Yeah, it's amazing how things like that work. And I should also back up because I skipped over somebody you'd actually mentioned, Leonard Bernstein. You're doing selections from West Side Story.
Yeah, it's a big Bernstein year, isn't it? With the new film with Bradley Cooper, and then the Bernstein Foundation this year has been releasing lots of documentary films and rehearsals and concerts of Leonard Bernstein. But, you know, when you're Gateway West, you have this sort of Americana or Americana adjacent style concert. You have to include Leonard Bernstein, who was so influential in the popularity and accessibility of classical music during his life.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to be the third concert, which is at the Brookings Quadrangle on the campus of Washington University. Bring the kids. The concert downbeat itself is at 7:30, but come early at 7:10, and you can hear a Notes to Munch On segment from Dr. Paul Higdon. You can have a little Ted Drews while you listen to Dr. Higdon and prepare for the concert. Now, parking can be a mystery when you're in Washington University, so my suggestion would be go to the website gatewayfestivalorchestra.org, and there are maps there as to where to park and how to navigate that campus, especially if you're not familiar with it. I think that's something everybody will appreciate, don't you?
Absolutely.
Chris Keltz, what a pleasure to get to know you just a little bit. Thank you for being with us.
Kathy, thank you so much for this opportunity to talk with you. And thank you for helping perpetuate arts and the Gateway Festival Orchestra to St. Louis.
Well, it's our privilege and our pleasure, I assure you. It's great to be able to do this with Classic 107.3, the voice for the arts in St. Louis. And we take that seriously, but we have a lot of fun doing it. As I'm sure you do, conducting the Gateway Festival Orchestra. So everybody come on out and see Chris Keltz conduct the Gateway Festival Orchestra. Thanks, Chris.